Hawks lose 3-2 to the Wild in Minnesota. Ugly game, ugly officiating, ugly goaltending. We'll get to it all next on the CHGO Blackhawks Podcast. Welcome into the CHGO Blackhawks POSTGAME Podcast. I'm Jay Zawoski with Greg Boyson and Mario Tirabassi. Hawks lose 3-2 in Minnesota. And, fellas, a bit of a frustrating loss today. Some weird officiating. Probably the first soft goal given up by Peter Mrazek all year. Weird puck off the skate of Connor Murphy, and smoke clears and you walk away with a loss.
Yeah, it's frustrating because you get the quick start again. You get 2 goals from Ryan Donato, and it falls apart quickly in that second period with some goofiness. So yeah, that stinks. No fun.
Yeah, I mean these day games, you're usually going to get some sort of weirdness. It seems to always happen in these early start games, and we saw that today. Goofy bounces. Just an awful officiated third period.
Yeah, we'll get to that. I mean, that's
rough.
We're not blaming the ref, guys.
No,
that was a huge factor in this game.
But, bottom line is Blackhawks stood toe-to-toe with one of the best teams in the conference right now. We're right there to the end. Lost to the better team. There's not a lot to be, it shouldn't be a pitchfork and torches type of game. It was just, in the end, the better team with the better roster and the more talent won the game. Their goalie made one more save than ours. And this was a typical Blackhawks loss this season. Just not enough to get over the finish line.
Yeah, and I think what is most frustrating about it is that the fact that you were up 2-0 and you were playing well and you were feeling good, then the Wild scored 2 goals in 17 seconds. That sounds familiar.
Yeah. It's not fun when it happens to you.
Do it in June, flips. Losers.
Yeah, and you started to see the Hawks kind of lose the structure they were playing with, and that's that. We've seen it a little bit this year, that panic setting in, and they're trying to do too much. When they started the game, they were so simple, and Darren Pang mentioned it. They're playing together. They're playing so joined. Everyone's in the right place. Everybody's predictable, and as the game went on, that structure kind of started to dissipate a little bit and fade. And you got guys trying to do too much. The Marcus Foligno empty netter that should have counted and didn't. You've got guys trying to make the perfect play. Then there's nothing there, and they just force a shot through 15 different guys, and it goes the other way. It's those kind of, I don't know. It's those kind of decisions that frustrate. But again, they're right there. 2 unlucky goals go in for Minnesota, and that's the difference in the game. And you would think at some point this season, some of that luck will even out. We saw it the other night with what game was that? Where Foligno.
It was the Foligno's empty netter.
I
forget who they were playing. The Panthers game.
Yes, it was a Panther because Verhaeghe just threw it away in the middle of the ice,
right to him.
Yeah,
he just tapped it into the empty net. Yeah, I mean you get a little bit of luck that way. I mean you had the floodgates open last game against Dallas. You can consider that a little bit of the NHL cosmos giving you one there. But yeah, I mean it's the first time, like you said, it's the first time that you could see a save that Peter Mrazek 99% of the time that's in his glove.
Yeah,
and especially the way that he's been playing this year and last year too. This last season and change, that's a save he makes so often that it's shocking that one went in. And Greg, as you said on social media, Connor Murphy is now the new Brent Seabrook with pucks going in off of his feet.
It's ridiculous. It seems like it's every other game.
Didn't it happen in the Dallas game on Wednesday? Is that how they scored their one goal?
I think so.
And go off his foot?
I've got my notes right
no,
here.
that was no. We thought Tavo put it in his own net. But
Right,
it turned
right.
out, Blackhawks legend Colin Blackwell beat
That's
him
right,
to the puck. No, yeah, Murphy just here's an idea. Don't stand anywhere near the net.
I mean, it's his job.
I
But
know,
yeah,
but
I know what you're
it's-
saying. But yeah,
It's frustrating because
Yeah.
it was like 17 seconds. That first goal was because Taylor Hall tries to force a puck when he doesn't make the simple play. Turnover goes the other way, and then just a great passing play by the Wild,
Yeah.
finished off by Rossi, and then the puck off the skates.
Yeah.
Like,
Stinks.
and then the third goal was dumb too. So like, it's just one of those days where you're
Yeah.
just like, okay, that's what it was. Usually when you're a good team, those breaks happen for you. How many times we see the dynasty era Blackhawks?
right.
Sure.
Every bounce seemed to go their way. Now, when you're a bad team, those things usually happen against you, and you don't get those breaks. You don't get the Connor Bedard wide open for a rebound, and the puck just jumps over his stick.
Man,
Or
so frustrating.
a pass that's just a half an inch too, behind the player.
Alec
Like,
Martinez hits the post
Yeah.
on a wide
Yeah,
open
right.
look.
it's just like good teams find a way to bury those chances. When you're struggling, you never seem to get any of those breaks. That's why hockey is the most random and the silliest of all the sports, and it's why we love it. And it's, again, like, there's just, for me, there is absolutely no reason to be like upset about this. It sucks they lost. It was a game you have a 2-0. You have a 2-0 lead on the road. You should probably win those games, but the way it happened, it wasn't because of a complete meltdown. It wasn't because of, some of the other reasons we've seen this team. They didn't turtle.
No,
I mean,
No,
Minnesota
they kept pushing.
Minnesota, when you look at the shot attempts and the scoring chances, Minnesota dominated in that area, but they should. They're the better team.
that's how it's going to be every night for this.
They
team.
have Kirill Kaprizov, and the Blackhawks don't.
Yeah.
Like,
They
should lead in shot attempts and scoring chances. So, silliness aside, this game probably went exactly how it should have.
By the way, the last deflected goal off Murphy's skate was a Vancouver game. Elias Pettersson's pass to Connor Garland right off Murphy's skating in, and that tied the game in the second period.
And it seems that every time it happens to Murphy, it's a tying goal or a go-ahead goal. It can't be.
Well, it's every game is
significant
close,
goal.
though.
Well,
yeah,
that's
right,
true too.
right.
But it's like it never happens when they're up 4-0 because they're never up 4-0. But
No, they
Yeah.
were on Wednesday.
Someday.
that's when you should have done it, Murph.
Yeah, someday it'll
That's
happen.
when you
Look,
can
it's
let
it's
one go.
just like you said, Greg. I don't think, there have been a lot of games this season where the three of us have been pretty pissed off and frustrated about the performance and the effort and the coaching or whatever you want to blame it on a night-to-night basis. But they just lost to a better team. Well, the Wild are what 15-4-4 now.
Yeah,
Like they're
pretty good.
a really, really good team, a deep
mean-
team, a versatile team.
I
with,
still want to see where they are at the end of the regular season.
Yeah.
They've got Kaprizov having a Hart Trophy worthy start to the season.
Mm-hmm.
Their goaltending's been really good. See how that holds up. Gustafson and Fleury. Let's see if they're still posting a 2.3 GAA come February. But right now, they're one of the best teams in the league. If it wasn't for the start the Jets had gotten off to, they'd be in first place in the Central. So, you beat them here a couple weeks ago. You lose by 1 to them in their rink today. You're hanging with them. And that's what we expected this team to do most of this season, was to play better in these games, to have more of these games as opposed to a lot of those 4-1 losses we saw last year.
Yeah.
And for the most part, that's what we've got. And today wasn't a game where you can just be like, oh my God, if so-and-so does this, or God, that stupid line combination, why did we have that out there? None of that happened. It was you lost to a better team. A couple bounces went against you. You move on, you come back home, you play Columbus on Sunday. And originally I had thought that maybe you give Mrazek the day off, especially after that third goal on Sunday. But then I remembered You can't not play Arvid Soderblom against the Toronto Maple Leafs on
That's
Monday.
true.
Yeah, you have to.
That's the team he always
He
beats.
owns that team.
King of Toronto.
So,
By the way,
It
the
is what it
Blue
is.
Jackets, no pushovers. I know everyone expected them to be absolutely horrible this year. They're at 500 right now, and they have a 2-goal lead against Calgary as they're playing right now. So that's not the Ass Jackets by any means.
No, they've been better than expected.
and they've got their second-year stud in a sophomore slump too. Adam Fantilli is not putting up the numbers they were hoping for, but
And now Kent Johnson's picking up the slack.
should have traded him to the Blackhawks last year when they had the chance.
Darn
You, Kyle Davidson, not
Get,
making moves.
Get David Urasek. He's on the market for some reason.
Do something.
Do something.
Hey, all right, we got the 3 stars of the game in this one. You're not going to believe it. Ryan Donato was not one of them. The 3 stars,
Minnesota
Marco Rossi
bias.
with a goal. Fleury's top 20 of 22 Hawk shots, and Jared Spurgeon with 2 fluky goals, so he gets number 1 star.
What was the snapping Spurgeon?
Pinching Spurgeon.
Pinching Spurgeon.
Number one bait in Cabela's in the Twin Cities.
So your 4-star nominees, you get your votes in the chat right now. Craig Smith with 3 shots and 5 shot attempts. Connor Bedard had an assist, 4 shots on goal, and 7 shot attempts. And Ryan Donato with 2 goals and 3 shots will reveal the winner at the end of the show, as well as the winner of Who's Your Hawk. Let's talk about Bedard a little bit. I think in this game, especially early on, you talked about in the pregame, Greg, the monkey being off of Connor's back. Like, it was really showing in this game. Like, carrying the puck, confident. Again, there were a few times where he's trying to do too much, throwing that backhander through traffic. Eventually, he'll figure that out. But I think that I'm not changing these lines. Maybe I put Nolan Allen in and take Crevier out. Not that Crevier was bad. Made a really nice read late in the game to block up a pass attempt that was going to could very close to a scoring chance. He's played well, but you want to get Allen back in. But I'm not changing anything. I think they played fine today, and I really like the way Bedard looks.
Yeah, it seemed more like a Connor Bedard game, and Connor Bedard, like the way that he played was more of what we expect out of him on a game-to-game basis. I think getting the goal on Wednesday obviously gave him a lot of that, like maybe pep in his step back. But yeah, 7 shot attempts, 4 individual scoring chances created, 4 shots on net, got the assist. Like it's a good game for him to have to follow up breaking the 12-game goal drought. If most nights are like that, you're eventually going to see a game where 1 or 2 of those shots go in, and you know that, like you mentioned before, that rebound attempt that just jumped away from his stick. You know, if that hop goes differently, maybe it's a goal and an assist that we're talking about for him tonight, and might be talking about a Hawks win. So it's just like those small things. Those small things can make a huge difference. Those little bounces in the game, but all in all, like a really good night for him again. So keep piling up those good nights for him, and eventually everything's gonna start going in the right direction for the team. Because as we said when he was slumping, if he's breaking out of it, as goes Bedard, will go the Blackhawks eventually.
Yeah, and this is, you know, as we were saying during the slump, like you want to see multiple shots on goal and nearly double-digit shot attempts every day. Again, 7 shot attempts today. Would have had more had not been for spending 4 of the last 11 minutes of this game shorthanded on absolutely brutal penalty calls against the Blackhawks. We're going to get to that in the next segment before we hit the break zone. And we should let you know, Greg and I are rocking our CHGO merch today. Black Friday sale is on at store.allcitynetwork.com. 30% off everything, up to 75% off everything in store. We'll give you more details on that coming up here in a little bit. But diehards, you're going to save even more. Your deal stacks onto that. So jump on it, but it's 30% off for everybody, and that goes up to 75% off for sale items. So store.allcitynetwork.com. Check it out. We'll be back with some officiating discussion on the other side of the break on CHGO Blackhawks. But first, if you're looking to attend a Hawks game, and why wouldn't you? You want to use our friends at Game Time. Game Time has a new feature called Game Time Picks. It makes getting tickets to see your favorite teams play live even easier. Game Time Picks filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats, so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. They've got those great views from your seats, so if you're at an arena you've never been to before, you want to know, hey, am I going to be able to see the game from here? Which is usually a helpful feature of seats you're buying. You can check it out.
Yeah, usually.
Yeah, it's good to know. They've got their low price guarantee. If you find a cheaper price, Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference. And they've got their ticket coverage. Your purchase is covered with the most flexible customer service policy in the ticketing industry. So again, you buy tickets, then you photocopy your butt at the holiday office party, and you get fired. Reach out to Game Time, and we'll see what they can do for you. That's customer service.
Send them a copy.
Send them a picture of your butt.
Look what I did at work today. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time Picks. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code CHGO for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code CHGO for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it?
Game time.
Game Time.
Nice job, everybody.
You're welcome.
/biz.
Lots of energy. Hey, speaking of energy, did you know, Greg, that ComEd can help businesses save money by becoming more energy efficient?
I did know this, but I'm going to play devil advocate and say I forgot.
Oh, well, thank you for doing that, because that lets me be able to tell you that the energy efficiency program from ComEd can help find up to 35% in energy savings for business owners.
35%?
That's what I said.
Wow! So what does the business have to do to get that?
All they got to do is sign up for a free facility assessment at ComEd.com/biz.
I just can't understand why more businesses aren't doing that
either. Maybe it's because they forgot the website.
ComEd.com/biz. ComEd.com/biz. ComEd.com/biz.
Yes, exactly. ComEd.com/biz. Terms and conditions do apply. Offers are subject to change. Actual savings will vary based on customers' energy usage and rate. And the ComEd Energy Efficiency Program is funded in compliance with state law, which is a good thing.
We got to get some super chats here before we move on. Let's take a look at who we got here in the super chats. There's Thomas. He's there as always. $2. It says perfect example of us beating ourselves. Pissed. All right. That's Thomas.
Kind of didn't happen though, but all right.
And Pete Neninen from Finland says Hawks need face-off-winning centers. Any ideas?
Get some face-off-winning centers.
That would be wonderful. Face-off-winning centers would be great.
Ilya Safonov.
What's Michael Handzus doing these days?
Michael Handzus, yeah.
Bring back Timo Ruutu. Did he win face-offs?
Sammy Paulson.
He's
Jonathan
Swedish.
Tays.
Just
What's he doing?
Just
What festival is he at this week?
Yeah.
Yannick Perreault.
Perreault's got to have a shift left in him.
He's here. Give him equipment. He's got his own stick.
Could have had his kid.
Could have.
Face-off specialists.
Yeah.
Oh,
well.
Yeah, they're not readily available usually. We've talked about Morgan Frost recently. His name's been on the trade rumors a little bit out there, and has been tied to the Hawks by Elliot Friedman and some others. So he's not a great face-off guy, but he's better than what they've got.
46%?
Yeah.
50% the last 2 years.
30.
He would be the best face-off guy on this team immediately.
Yeah, right away.
You know, but there'll be centers on their way. You know, that's definitely a need, and it will be addressed. You have a few maybe centers in the system. There's a couple of really good young centers going to be available at the top of the draft this year.
Yep.
And as I mentioned, a forgotten prospect, Ilya Safonov, playing center in the KHL. It's got, I think, a 3-game point streak right now. Last year of his KHL deal, he could be a guy heading to Chicago next year, and he plays center, and he's pretty good at faceoffs. So could be a solution there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. If he could get in the NHL, that'd be great.
All right, let's talk about the referees in this game. And again, if you listen to us regularly, this is not a normal thing, but I think the officiating's been bad this year, and this game was bad. I mean, the one on Donato is clearly a get back at Donato because he yelled at you kind of a penalty.
Well, he wouldn't be yelling at you if he would have called the penalty that was blatant against him.
Right. Zach Bogosian demonstrates what is hooking, and he shows you exactly what hooking is on the ice in real time, no call. So Donato, rightfully so, is pissed about it. Marco Rossi is holding his stick so delicately.
I think it was Boldy.
Oh, Boldy. I'm sorry. Yeah, it was Boldy. And Donato goes, bloop, flips the stick goes flying, and he's called for interference.
Yeah, stick should have been standing there.
Like seconds later. It's absurd. Then Connor Murphy, defending behind the Hawks net, player falls down, loses an edge.
Yeah, Rossi lost the edge.
That's right, Rossi. And Murphy had his stick like on his hip.
It
loses an edge and falls. 2 minutes.
Wasn't a trip. And what pisses me off about the trip is it's late in the game, and it's not a trip. It's a guy losing an edge. And the referee making the call, hands were not up until Rossi is down on the ice, sliding towards the boards.
Yeah.
The play's going back the other way. The crowd makes a big fuss, and then yep, penalty. Yep, I don't want to be mad. I don't want to make the home crowd mad. It's just that situationally is really what irks me. Like, there's going to be missed calls either way. The empty net goal for Marcus Foligno should have been an empty net goal. So if the refs are saying, hey, Hawks, we kind of screwed you up on that one, here's how we're going to even it up. We're going to say, oh, it was a tie for icing, so it was icing when it clearly wasn't. Like, okay, that's fine. That's why Tim Peel doesn't have a job, but it still happens. Like, that's what the NHL does. But it's still, like, situationally, that's the one that I hate more than the Donato one. The Donato one's egregious as well. So it's they miss calls. They called bad ones. Like, it just sucks. And especially in a game where it's decided by one goal, like, things could have been. I
mean, you're trying to get back in the game, and there's 4 minutes left, and then they give that penalty to Murphy, and it's like,
right?
Yeah,
that's brutal. That's a time of the game and a situation in the game where you can't miss one.
It was more of like, I don't think the ref saw it until he saw the crowd react to Rossi falling down, and he must have tripped him. I'll call the penalty.
If you don't see it, then you don't call it.
Right? You can't call what you don't see.
Yeah.
But as you said, they made up for it a little bit by not counting that Marcus Foligno empty netter, which is just silly. And then even saying, yeah, we screwed it up. It wasn't even icing. The faceoff will be at center ice. But it's not the reason the Hawks lost, but it's also
it hurts your comeback.
Yeah,
effort.
I mean, it's not the reason they lost, but it didn't help them not lose either.
Right.
It takes away momentum. Now you got a penalty kill. Takes away half the time left in regulation when that Murphy call. So yeah, but you're gonna get calls. You're gonna get bad penalties, bad non-calls in every game, and you just somehow got to figure out a way to overcome it. And the Hawks, to their credit, killed both of those power plays in the third period. So they didn't let those calls end the game, but it's just tough to get momentum back after that.
Yeah. And I'll say too, like, one thing we've seen in the last, couple games last handful of games really is the Hawks against Dallas, even with a decent sized lead, didn't stay back and try to like play the prevent. In this game, they were trying to, they're down a goal obviously, so they're going to try to attack a little more, but the stuff we saw over the last 2 weeks or so, where you're just like pulling your hair out watching this team play, it seems like those are starting to turn around a little bit in terms of the intensity, the like you always say, Greg, no one plays a full 60 minutes. That's nonsense, but like they're getting closer to a full 60 than they have been most of the year.
It also helps when you actually have four lines that make sense for 2 games in a row. Like we're getting what we wanted. We wanted Richardson to find something, and it worked, and now stay with it. There's no reason to break any of this up Sunday as well. Maybe you put Allen back in after 2 games, and Crevier was pretty good, but put Allen back in there, fine. These are your lines. Roll with them. It was another pretty good balanced game. The fourth line, Craig Smith had a great game. Lucas Reichel had a couple of nice plays. Connor Bedard's feeling it. That top line was good. And then you have Donato's line. Tyler Bertuzzi, another really good game for
playing
him.
Really well.
Yep.
And then you have the Dickinson line, which is your shutdown line, allegedly. at times, and so it makes sense. So keep rolling with these lines.
Would you
that help? I think that helps when you have a balanced attack with defined roles. That helps you, play consistently through a game.
I mean, two games with this lineup, you've aggregate outscored your opponents 8-5. That's probably better than any other two game stretch a lineup has had.
I don't have to look it up to know.
And Matt Duchene goals don't count, so 8-4.
So 8-4.
Yeah.
Right.
We figured that out. Would you be in favor? As I know we want to keep things consistent, but the way Bertuzzi's playing, not to take anything away from Kurashev, I think he was fine in this one. Would you try Hall, Bedard, Bertuzzi?
No, not right now. I think Bertuzzi's playing better because he's on a line with Ryan Donato, who helps you with.
Yeah, sure.
Like, again, Bedard needs guys that could score off the rush. Tyler Bertuzzi is not that guy.
Yeah.
He's never going to be that guy. Stop trying to make him that guy.
But they're controlling the puck more in the zone, which they were today, then that value. I mean, if you look at the goal Bedard scored against Dallas, that was Bertuzzi making that happen. Like, he dives out, stops the puck with his hand, gets it back to Bedard. Like, he was a dog on that shift. He was the Donato. I think the first goal was the one that he went and broke up. Went behind the net, won a puck, got it out in front. Like, he's doing all those little things right. And as predicted, 25 games or so into the season, Tyler Bertuzzi starts to find his legs a little bit with his new team, and he's been really, really good and doing everything you want him to do. I'm not saying it's absolutely necessary, but later in the game, I was thinking, you know what? Like, you got a couple guys playing really well. Why not throw Bertuzzi out there in the top line to see what happens? I don't know. I don't hate it, but again, I think consistency is probably king.
Yeah,
and I like the way this lineup is made.
I'm not changing anything right now.
I think the way it's set up is fine for right now. And yeah, if you get some power play opportunities, that's an opportunity for Bedard and Bertuzzi to play together in a scenario that's set up to play to Bertuzzi's strengths in his style, where theoretically on a power play you'd be able to get into the offensive zone, set up, and have some controlled time where he can play around the net and be effective in that way. And we've seen it happen, but I think the way that they have it set up right now with Donato and Teravainen with Bertuzzi, I think that's you get a guy like Donato down the middle who's going to drive to the net, not afraid to shoot the puck, and is like playing out of his mind. First guy to double-digit goals on this team this year, as we all predicted.
100%. And
then Teravainen, who's a guy that is very versatile, can control the puck at times, and can create offense. So I don't think it's a bad way that it's set up right now. So no, I don't think Sunday you need to throw it in there. Now, if Kurashev has a game where he's not that effective on Sunday, Bertuzzi has another really good standout game, maybe you try it on Monday. But I think for now you keep it together as is, and I'm okay with it.
Yeah, I think Monday in Toronto, Bertuzzi is not going to need any kind of extra added bump for that game.
No, I wouldn't think so.
He could put him on any line, and he's going to be like, "I'm going to."
That would be fun.
Yeah, that should be a fun.
That would be fun to see him have a good game.
Too bad Max Domi's on IR. We could have had Bertuzzi versus Domi, just like the good old days.
Yeah, I will say I want to give Kurashev some credit. He was really strong on the forecheck today, and did some good things offensively too. What I've noticed about him when he's playing confidently is he's really good at sort of changing his pace. Like, he'll enter with speed, slow down, then take speed again, and kind of keeps the defenders off balance. And as they're looking at Hall and Bedard as good guys off the rush, Kurashev's got that ability too. So it makes sense. I'm not insisting they switch it. I'd like to see Bertuzzi get recognition and rewarded for his good play. But hey, being on the second line is pretty good too. And he's
being
doing
on
a
the
good
top
job on the
power play line is the recognition he gets.
100%.
Leave that line alone.
Absolutely.
We've been screaming for weeks to leave the lines alone, and here we are 2 games later. You want to change it, Jay?
Oh, we've been conditioned to change.
I just said I don't want to change it.
We only know change.
Yeah. All right, do us a favor. If you've not done it already, please hit that like button for us. The viewers and the likes are not adding up, so hit that like button for us and make sure you are subscribed to our YouTube page as well. If you're listening on the podcast, we appreciate you too. Make sure you are following or subscribed on your favorite podcast app, and leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. More to come, including Who's Your Hawk and the 4-star of the game on the CHGO Blackhawks podcast. Well, we want to tell about our friends at Sunnyside, your home for judgment-free cannabis shopping, a place where all sorts of visitors, rookies, noobs, veterans, whatever, they're welcome to explore, discover, and purchase a wide array of high-quality products. Sunnyside has everything you need to elevate your day, your week, your month, your year, whatever it might be. It's your one-stop shop for all your cannabis needs. Sunnyside has an expertly curated menu with over 100 strains to choose from, plus easy online ordering and in-store pickup. They've got locations in Wrigleyville and River North and in the Burbs, Champaign, South Beloit, and more. It is a great place to go if you are just getting started. And, of course, like I said earlier, if you are a vet, they've got you covered as well. Check out their new limited-time offer from Good News, my favorite brand, the Island Vibes. That's available in disposable vapes, 510 carts, and live resin gummies. Great for pre-Thanksgiving parties. Oof. Visit sunnyside.shop for bright buys every day, including 50% off your first 3 online purchases. Enter promo code HICHGO at checkout to qualify. Exclusions apply. Sunnyside Cannabis Dispensary. Bright buys every day, only for 21 plus or Illinois MedCard holders.
And we want to give a quick shout out to our pals over at Empire Today, Chicagoland Legends. With Empire Today, you get shop-at-home convenience, the right product for your needs, and quick professional installation and a low price guarantee. Empire Today is the best place to get new flooring, so of course, there's going to be a ton of copycats. But Empire can't be beaten on quality, service, speed, so competitors advertise low-quality products that Empire just won't carry. Empire won't promise the lowest prices because anyone who does is just putting flooring in your home that they wouldn't put in their own. Empire prides itself on its curated product selection. Their philosophy is to help you find what you need, not to overwhelm you with so many choices. Plus, they have this awesome virtual floor designer. It's the best way to see how new floors will look in any space. It's easy. Just snap a picture and instantly see how the new floors will look in your room. And additionally, they service their own warranties as well. So if an issue ever arises, you just call Empire. They service all their warranties themselves. You won't have to track down a manufacturer's phone number and find out that place went out of business 20 years ago and you're screwed. So schedule your free in-home estimate today. All listeners can receive a $350 off discount when they use the promo code CHGO. Restrictions apply. See EmpireToday.com/CHGO for all the details.
That's almost as good of a discount as our Black Friday and Cyber Monday sale.
That's right. 30% off everything in our store, stored at ALLCITYNetwork.com, up to 75% off sale items. And we've been pushing people towards that PHNX Coyotes gear because that's once it's gone, it's gone.
That's fine.
It is.
Are they helping us sell any shirts over there?
I don't know. I don't work that way. I'm not a quid pro quo guy. I just like to help out our friends.
I don't know. Maybe not selling out Coyotes gear is why they have deactivated fan shirts in the first place.
Could be. That could be why. Also, can I offer a challenge to the chat and to the fun folks listening at home who need to hit that like button for us? Let's not make. I mean, we've all been through the should the Hawks fire Luke Richardson discussion. It's been happening for the last several weeks. We've commented on it several times, but let's not every loss have it be fire Luke Richardson. Like, they just beat the Stars 6-2. Does Luke get no credit for that?
Nope.
He gets none of that credit?
Nope. No, people.
But all the credit's on him for losing this one. Like, it's just let's not ride the roller coaster.
It's just one game. Can't get excited over one game. Nah, gotta fire Richardson.
Look, we know what
can't have one good game. Can't have joy.
Everyone in Chicago is fully aware what a coaching loss looks like.
Yes.
We have exposure to it.
We get him every
Sunday.
Every Sunday.
Sometimes
I watched one last night.
Yes, like that's what that looks like.
Yesterday afternoon.
And is Luke the guy for the future? I don't know. I would say probably not. And I would think at the end of the season, the Hawks might look to move on from him. But there's nothing that needs to be done immediately, I don't think.
Nothing is going to
in terms of a coaching change. I don't think anything is going to happen immediately in terms of a coaching change. So I get frustration after losses, but like there's some people that come in here every show and it's just fire Luke. Okay. Well, like it's fine. If they want to do that, fine.
That's the
it's just
that's the one change that this team can make in the immediacy to try and change things up.
Well,
but it's also the thing that, like, as most recent as Kyle Davidson has spoken publicly, is not on the table. Now, that was basically a month ago, and things have changed since then, or the perception, I think, has changed since then, but I still don't think that they're at the point where they have their finger hovering over the button of fire Luke Richardson. Like, I don't think they're at that.
No,
I don't think they're at that spot yet.
It's gotten better. The last 5 games has been better. Like,
sure, yeah.
It's like that's what you want. They went through that stretch after the road trip where it was some bad efforts, some bad lines, bad hockey. But the last 3 to 5 games have been, you've seen progress. You've seen changes for the positive that are made and it working. So listen, Richardson's going to get the rest of this season and maybe beyond. They're not getting rid of him during the season unless something happens where they go on like an 11-game losing streak and it's clear you've got if Alex Vlasic comes on our show and says, well, the players are doing everything to win a game, like Keenan Allen did yesterday. If you got maybe you make the change.
If you got Alex Vlasic sending out crying, laughing emoji tweets after Luke speaks to the media,
exactly.
Then you know that there's a problem.
Right.
So he's not going anywhere this season. He's going to get the season to try and figure it out. And we saw some progression early in the season, and then you had a regression. That's why that was so frustrating. And now you're starting to see the improvement and you're starting to see progression again.
I think if we got to this point in this season and they were where they are in the standings and they were getting just run out of the building each night, I think that would be something where you'd say, yeah, this team is gone beyond repair. But at 5v5, their goal differential is what? -2 this year? -3?
It was -1 heading into the game, and they gave up. They were -1 test, so -2.
They're -2 today, even strength.
-2 at even strength? So they're -3 on the season at even strength.
When they were, what, a -1 something last year?
Right. Well, yeah. Well, goal differential total was like -100 something.
It was like -80 something.
But I'm saying basically if you take out the empty netters goals, they're essentially -3 in goal differential
pretty darn well defensively this year.
Yeah. So outside of like an offensive slump, I don't think that there's a lot to be said that this team is so far gone. So I that's why I feel like I know just last week we were saying they got to make a trade, they got to call somebody up, or they got to fire Richardson. Like, they needed some sort of spark. Maybe the spark was they needed a 6-goal effort. They needed an offensive outburst, and they needed to be able to play with some consistency in the lineup. Those two things paired together, if they can move forward over the next few games and have competitive games against, like tonight, competitive game against the Wild, some fluky bounces don't go your way and you lose by 1. If they come out and you beat Columbus and you have a good game against Toronto or something like that, like, things start going in a direction where you're getting more positive results and you're still in games.
Then you got some.
You're not talking about a team that's completely lost.
You got some fraudulent teams on the schedule coming up. Boston, the Rangers the following week.
Rangers, they're reeling. They lost again today, didn't they?
They did 5 in a row. Hey, maybe don't have the GM say you want to trade your captain and your longest tenured, most popular player.
Would you guys trade for Chris Kreider?
No.
How old is he?
33.
No.
Okay. All right.
I think what he's got left.
There are players that make more sense that would take less to get.
Yeah.
Namely Morgan Frost, who's 25 with hockey ahead of him.
I just look at Chris Kreider. I'm just like, that's a guy that scores around the net a lot.
Sure.
But I get it.
I just don't know, like, at this
he's
point,
ancient, being younger than I am.
Like, if I'm trading legitimate assets for a guy, meaning like multiple seconds or whatever it might be, I want someone that could potentially be here when this team's good again.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't want to. There's no point in them getting a rental.
Plus, a team that has Stanley Cup aspirations will way overpay for Chris Kreider.
Did you trade for Jacob Trouba?
No. I'm going to elbow you in the skull for even suggesting that. I'm going to Jacob Trouba you. No.
And just to be clear on the Luke thing before we move off of it, like, if you believe he should be fired, fine. Like, I'm not going to try to talk you out of that. There's evidence that he might not be the guy. And if I'm making that decision today, I'm probably saying, let's look for something else at the end of the year. I'm just asking, like, let's just not do the roller coaster every game where it's he is to blame, fire him, get rid of him, he's the problem. Like, I don't think he's the reason this team is losing. I just think that I'd like to see a couple more solutions more quickly than we've seen them from Luke.
Well, if
it took us to 23 games to get consistent lines 2 games in a row.
Yeah. And the thing is, I feel like if you're firing Luke in season, the replacement is not coming from outside the organization. I don't see, like, that was like kind of like when Jim Montgomery was available for 6 days. It was everyone wanted to.
Oh, what a 6 days it was!
I know everyone wanted to fire Luke and hire Jim Montgomery, and it doesn't feel like that is the route that Kyle Davidson would have, even if he was, kind of doing like a reverse course of his philosophy on the rebuild and structuring Luke's contract the way that he did. With the option for the 4th year, I think if you're moving on from Richardson in season, it's going to be one of the coaches on staff that's going to be placed in the interim, or it's Anders Sorensen coming up. But even then, I don't think that would be a good idea, because then you're taking Sorensen away from Rockford, who plays tonight, where their development is super important.
Yeah, don't mess with that,
and you don't want to. Right. Yeah, you don't want to change that up. So
speaking of Anders Sorensen, he'll be joining us live Thursday at 2:30.
How about that?
Is that firm?
That is firm.
That's confirmed.
I like it.
It's as firm as Anders likes it.
We got to see if we can get a Blue Chew read when Anders is on.
How many times can you say firm in 10 seconds?
Firm all the time.
Yeah.
That'll be good. I'm not messing with anything in Rockford, because the development that's happening there is working.
Mm-hmm.
Like, pretty much everybody is getting better down there.
Yeah. I think seeing a little bit of consistency in the lineups has tempered my heat on wanting to see one of the young guys come up. I still wouldn't hate it, but I think giving this lineup some consistent time together with practices and games and everything, finding that chemistry and cohesion for a few games, I think is really important. If they flip it on its head, then sure. All right. Well, if you're going to change that up, then why not try and call up one of the young guys, give them a reward the way that they've been playing. But if you're going to give some consistency in the lineup in the NHL, then keep everybody where they need to be.
Yeah, that's a good byproduct of getting some consistent lines and getting consistent production from them. Then you don't need to call up a guy that might not be 100% ready to be up here. You don't need that change. I still wouldn't hate it if it happens, but you shouldn't, with the guys they brought in here and the way they put this team together, you shouldn't be screaming for guys to come up from Rockford in November.
Right.
But that's the situation we were in, because this team was underachieving. Last 2 games, small sample size, but 2 games, it was better. It's what you want. It's what we kind of across the board expected this team to look like this season. We get that night in and night out, then you can let the guys in Rockford develop the way they are. And I know some people, like to your point about let's not do the roller coaster. I get people either in the chat or on social media say, "Oh, how come you don't get upset after every loss?" I'm like, well, because I do this 82 times a year for my own mental health. I'm not going to take every loss as I get mad when it's warranted. I'm not going to get up here and get fake mad every time they lost. We have other shows on our network where you can watch guys get raging mad after every regular season loss. I'm not going to be that guy.
Well, it's also not warranted every night in the context of what the Blackhawks are, right? Like, yes, we expected them to be better this year. I would say overall they have underachieved. Yeah, but the arrow has been over the last, like you said, Greg, few games, looking a little bit better, starting to point up a little bit, which is fine. But we expected them to lose more games than they won, right? That's the expectation. So getting mad here and kicking stuff and throwing whatever isn't going to. It's not real,
Right.
and I think what we were talking about this during the game. We were talking about Tyler Bertuzzi, and I said there's so many people who are just dug in that Tyler Bertuzzi sucks that they won't even acknowledge that he's playing well.
It's all those narratives. The Luke Richardson narrative.
Seth Jones is the king of that.
TJ Brody is bad. TJ Brody's been fine the last 7 or 8 games. Yeah. But the narrative that starts the season is the narrative people want to stick with through all 82 games. You can change. We've changed our opinions on this show plenty of times. I was not a fan of.
You can change.
Yes.
I can change.
I hated the Tyler Bertuzzi signing. I've been hard on him when it's been warranted, but when he plays good games, I'm the first guy to say Tyler Bertuzzi was really good today.
There's no point in us saying no, he sucks.
I've been in favor. I've been a supporter of Luke Richardson. I've said a lot of times on this show this season that it's not a coaching problem, but last week and so I'm, you can say, hey, something needs to be changed here. You can change your opinions, and then you can go back to your original opinion if you need it. It's okay to be.
Well, it's also the course of 82 games where I think, this is just an example. I thought Luke made horrible decisions tonight, or I think Tyler Bertuzzi played like ass today, or wow, this was Connor Bedard's best game in a while. That's why they play 82. They're not going to be the same every night. Yeah. Some nights Seth Jones looks like a $9.5 million defenseman. Some nights he doesn't, and I'm going to tell you on those nights which it is, but there's no point in declaring this guy sucks. My mind will never be changed regardless of the evidence in front of my face. I am just digging in my heels, and this is my opinion, and everyone else is wrong and stupid. What's the point of that? If that's how you're going to consume a sports team, why bother? Why do it to yourself? The hope is that these guys get better, and there's going to be ebbs and flows. I've been frustrated with Nick Foligno lately. I don't think Nick Foligno's particularly had a great last couple weeks. But I'm not going to suddenly say Nick Foligno sucks, trade him. I think Nick Foligno will figure things out and look better in a little bit here.
I think he misses us.
Well, that's what happens.
Yeah, that's what happens.
Look how good Alex Vlasic looks.
CHGO bump's real.
And you look at Lord Hostess says they're still in 32nd. They're in 32nd place. How's that progress from last season? I'm not dug in. Well, they're on pace for 65 points, which is not great, but it's an improvement from last year.
Yeah, 13-point improvement.
Yes, and
while still being in last place,
and about 8 to 10 points fewer than what we all predicted. We all were in the 74 to 76 point range.
Right, yeah.
But it's also how they're losing every night.
They're not losing. They're being pretty much, for the most part, about 80% of the season, they're being the exact team we expected them to be. Better, still not good. Now if you get these consistent lines going and you get some consistent play, you could be that 72 to 74 point team that we all thought they were going to be. That's kind of what we're saying here. Over 82 games, you got to let the whole thing play out, because at the end of the year, they're probably going to be exactly where we all thought they were going to be. And yes, there are ups and downs to get there. But to me, this season is more about big picture.
Yeah.
Are the guys who matter, the guys who are going to be here when this team is good, are they doing what they need to do? You look what's going on in Rockford. That's encouraging. You look at Vlasic and you look at Kaiser. You look at the improvements Reichel's made. You look at the improvements Soderblom's made.
Yeah.
Bedard's struggled, to score goals. And then for about 5 or 6 games, it was concerning. But now he's starting to get that feeling back. But Bedard overall, his overall game outside of the goal scoring and the slumping has improved. He's better defensively. He's better back checker.
Yeah.
He's more active without the puck. Those are all good things. Big picture. Pull away from the 3-game losing streak in mid-November and just pull away. See the big picture, and you'll see that, okay, yeah, this week kind of sucked, but grand scheme of things, it's trending in the right direction.
I would say so. And again, it's the context of the standings are with it right there. Yes, they're in last place. It's undeniable. But they've certainly been a better overall team than they were last year. That's what you need to look at. And look, Kyle Davidson said it himself. We can't have this again. So with that in mind and that on the record, then at the end of this year, if that's the case, then they will move on from Luke Richardson. They're going to, I mean,
right, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I just don't think it has to happen today. Now, like you said, Greg, if you have, and Mario said this too, you both said it. If there's a stretch of 3 weeks where they're losing 6-2 every game and the team is clearly lost and there's no getting out of it, fine. Then the conversation reignites. But what we've watched over the last handful of games here, there's nothing coaching wise. That's the problem. It's just it's an execution thing. It is a staying within the structure thing. And let's be honest, it's a talent thing. Because, yeah, they brought in a lot of veterans, but none of these guys, as Al McIsaac said before the season, where are the goals going to come from, right? Like, he saw it. And even as we were doing our projections, it was like, well, maybe if Mikheyev scores 20. And,
that was,
you know,
that exercise is going back and thinking about that was just like, we were like, at everyone's optimistic
best case scenario,
best case optimistic goal scoring pace this year based off of their, you know, few previous seasons and maybe career averages and stuff. This team was going to score 215 goals, which last year would have made them 30th place in goals scored. So it's unfortunate that their lack of offensive production is sinking them lower than that, but at least defensively, things have been good. Goaltending has been above expectations this season from both guys for the most part. Mrazek, you know, tonight let in one that you don't like to see, but yeah, I mean, if this team was offensively producing at their expected level, it'd be a completely different season.
I don't know who G is. I see it on the screen there, right up there at the top, Nate. Is there a chance we still end up with 65 points in last place? Is that considered better? It is better.
It's 13
it's
points.
13 points better.
Mathematically,
the entire
it's better.
league
Yeah.
got better.
By definition.
Yeah, mathematically, it is better, but I think it's going to be interesting to see at the end of the season if they are mathematically improved in the standings, in the points, but still last place. How does Kyle Davidson view that? Because he was very adamant at the end of last season and over the summer that seasons like the last two were not acceptable. The last two seasons, you finished second to last and third to last.
I mean,
So if you finish dead last, even though you improved, how do you view that?
we did the math. We said there's a chance that they can get 25 more points this season, finish with 77 points. I think if you were to tell every Blackhawk fan they're going to have 25 more points than last year, you'd be like, hell yeah, that is great. And you'd still be the sixth worst team in the National Hockey League. That's how bad they were last year.
It's how bad it was. Yeah. Speaking of Luke, we have Luke. He spoke after the game.
He's here.
Here's what he had to say about the 3-2 loss in Minnesota.
Similar things as many this year, just winnable and just figuring out that third goal.
Yeah, unfortunately, I think the momentum swing is we stopped moving our feet a little bit. We were really buzzing in the second period, and after that power play goal, I felt we maybe got a little too cute and stopped just moving our feet and shooting pucks. And unfortunately, they got the one on an ozone giveaway on the first one, but the next shift's huge. We can't let them score right away, and especially on the road. I think we could settle the crowd down, the building down, and we have to nullify that. So that was just sloppy on our part. Unfortunately, they got that bounce on the third goal, and we didn't probably shoot and attack enough to get one of those ourselves.
That second one, is it just a feeling to break out, or what did you see on that?
Yeah, I think we just didn't clear the zone, and they had the momentum and they were coming at us really hard, which is what they do. And unfortunate bounce off of our skate in the blue paint. We just got to be better in all areas, getting it out and killing the play at the end.
What did you see from Donato early on?
He's good. He's a shooter, and when he got that puck, he knows to do with it. And he had a really, it was a great forecheck with Bert, turning the puck over, making a play, and Dono capitalizing on it. Great spot and great shot. And then he does what he does well on the power play. It was great movement to get the puck around to him, and he got a favorable bounce off, I think, Faber's stick, but he's shooting the puck, and that's what we need to do more.
Do you sense the frustration in the guys right now? Just where offense was their last game, but
I heard them talking in between second period, and they're frustrated that we let the other team kind of come back and take over the game. And I thought we pushed pretty good in the third, had some good scoring chances, even with the goaltender out. But we got to do a better job when we get up 2-0 to kind of we're past the first 10 games, first 20 games. We got to make sure that we're getting into a mode where we can hold that and sustain it, and play the way we played to get to that point, and even better. So it's just learning processes, and we got to make sure that we learn from them quickly.
What do you think gets you over that hump?
We need a couple games in a row where we sustain, and maybe one's a big lead like last game, but maybe we have to follow up with a tight lead, and we got to be comfortable with that. We're not going to score 6 goals every night. So when we score 2 or 3, we got to make sure that we buckle down and don't give the other teams any chances for free.
It seemed like Hall and Bedard maybe figuring out. It felt like they're connecting more.
Yeah, and even Kershaw had some good hard play, especially in the third period. So definitely, we'll keep together and see if that can go even better.
There's Luke Richardson. Thanks to the Blackhawks for use of that video.
Thanks for Habitat and Humanity behind him.
Yeah,
building
Jimmy
a home.
Carter back there nailing away. He must have won the tool belt today. But a lot of banging happening there in Minnesota.
Sure.
All right, cool. All right, the chat has declared their winner for the 4-star of the game. Nate, will you do the honors, please? The winner is Ryan Donato.
No question about it.
2 goals, almost had a hat trick, 3 shots on goal. Really solid game for Donato, and the victim of a terrible penalty against. And he leads the team in scoring with 10.
Just like we all predicted.
Yeah.
How the hell was he not a 3rd star of the game anyway?
Because it's a game in Minnesota.
Ridiculous.
That they won. Yeah.
Whatever.
Really cool story here from regarding Ryan Donato. I don't know if people remember Colby Cave, the former Bruins player who lost, I think it was a brain tumor a few years ago, passed away. Apparently, his widow, Emily, shared today before the game that Ryan Donato was wearing one of Colby's ties before the game to honor his friend. And he scored the 2 goals today. I guess another time that he did that, Donato also scored. And I guess that was also against the Blackhawks, not with the Blackhawks, but against them. So a really cool story there from Donato and the Cave family. So, it was just that's one of those things that's like kind of takes you outside of the game, and it's just kind of like it's touching to see something like that.
No doubt. All right, and who's your Hawk? Who is the winner?
Greg.
Hey, Connor Bedard is back, baby. Scorched you punks with 3.5 points.
That extra half point really makes a difference.
Closing the gap.
Totally did.
So Taylor Hall, my pick was -1. Tyler Bertuzzi, Mario's pick at 3.
That'll teach you for trusting your gut. Jay.
I know, no more gut trustage. And Connor Bedard with 3.5. So Greg takes the win home today.
Yep, Mario back in the lead for the season standings, but long way to go.
Yes. All right, that's going to do it for the televised portion of the game, of the post-game show. Want to remind everybody about the Black Friday sale happening right now at store.allcitynetwork.com. That's not just for diehards. It's for everybody. 30% off everything in store, up to 75% off sale items. And yes, if you're a diehard, your extra bonus applies. So if you want to become a diehard, allchgo.com is the place to do it. You'll get a free shirt or hat upon sign up, access to our great written content, access to our members-only Discord, which gives you priority on Mailbag Monday, 20% off all events, takeovers, watch parties. We've got a new takeover to announce very, very soon. Probably next week we'll get that announcement out there, and it's going to be sweet.
Before we sign off, I just want to give a shout-out to our pal Charlie the Bacon Guy. Was the November Discord Who's Your Hawk winner for the month of November.
How about that?
2 points over Holly. So
She
he's
took
gonna,
Reichel one too many
I
times.
was going to say her strategy of picking Reichel every game almost worked.
but he's going to be getting a CHGO shirt sent to him. That's what they play for. Our buddy Deadhawk, who's always active here in YouTube as well, is running that. So if you're a diehard, make sure you're playing Who's Your Hawk in the Discord as well, because December's monthly winner is going to get a CHGO hat.
Ooh, nice.
Very cool.
Thought
Do
you
we
were
have any
gonna-
diehards to pay off, Nate? Do we get them all?
Super chats.
Thought you were going to say
Yeah,
Charlie wins
super
a
chats. I'm sorry.
package of bacon.
He does. Gets
From
his-
himself.
gets his own free bacon.
Windy
At least
City
wants to
Hockey,
save on shipping.
$2 tells us he's bringing us gummy bears on
All right.
Sunday.
Oh,
Hell
that's
yeah.
fun for you guys.
That's great. Well, we'll get yours. We'll split yours. That's fine.
Yeah.
Especially with Bergevin lurking lately.
Yeah.
Can't get the communal gummy bears anymore. You're
Yeah.
going to get
I mean,
ported up.
is it too much of a jerk to ask for worms this time? Just saying.
Oh, mix it up a little bit?
You want to get worms?
I got worms.
Oh,
Gummy
okay.
worms.
Yeah. Hey, that's between you and Windy City Hockey.
All right.
But I'll take worms too. Worms are good. All right, we're back after Jackets and Hawks on what day is it
Oh,
today?
don't forget, 2 of the 3 of us.
Oh, yeah.
or 3 of the 4 of us will be right back here in
Survivor
24
Series
hours.
watch along.
Yeah, CHGO
5 o'clock.
wrestling.
Tomorrow, Mario, myself, Nate will be producing. Big Dave, I believe Ryan from CHGO Cubs is going to be here. And Dave informed me he got a super fill-in since Jay won't be here. Our
Super
pal
fill-in.
Kyle Williams from the Sun-Times
Hey,
will be
how about
sitting
that?
here watching as well. So it'll be a lot of fun.
Nice.
5
That's
o'clock
awesome.
tomorrow live here on the YouTube. We're going to be watching Survivor Series, so you should watch it with
Survivor
us.
Series War Games.
Nice.
All
I
the bloodlines.
Cannot wait for the carnage.
All right, we'll talk to everybody Sunday after Hawks and Blue Jackets on the CHGO Blackhawks podcast.
We all silly like the